Hi everybody, my name is Justin, and welcome back to Game On, a web show all about tabletop gaming, from RPGs to board games and everything in between. I was watching some of the videos that we released, it was a couple weeks ago at this point, and we had one where we had a viewer request talking about kind of like what we wanted from 6th edition D&D. Now, we recorded this a couple days before 1D&D was announced, so it was, we didn't know what was going to be coming out. We had no real idea. We know that, they were teasing that they wanted something for the 2024 re-release of D&D, but we just didn't know exactly what it was going to be. So we got that one D&D announcement, and I was kind of excited by the name. And I know being excited strictly by a name is kind of weird, but I had kind of an idea in my head of what I was looking forward to before I even sat down and read some of the material and watched any of the reveal trailers and yada yada yada. And that is 1D&D. What does that mean? And I went through and I was like, oh, okay, so this is all just like a kind of an update to 5th edition. I know that they don't necessarily want to call it that. In some places, it seems like it's saying, we're updating the rules to 5th edition. And then in some places, it seems like they want to not be assumed to be with 5th edition D&D, but kind of like the new standard for Dungeons and Dragons. We are 1D&D. So that sounds cool and all, but what I was really hoping for is something that would be incredibly difficult to pull off, and I don't know if it's possible. I would like to see it tried, but I really don't know if it would be possible, and that is literally making some sort of compendium, or not so much compendium, a resource to make D&D 1D&D. And what do I mean by that? There are some players that I know in real life who are, I don't want to say stuck in their ways, but their favorite edition is 2nd edition, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. That's what they want to play. I even know a couple of people who really like 4th edition D&D. I know people who think 3.x is the perfect amount of crunch and the ability to make some decisions as a DM to just be kind of that perfect middle ground. The first D&D with a unified mechanic, using that D20, everybody levels at the same time. There's some people who love 5th edition. I mean, I as much as I hate on it lately, generally I do like 5th edition. And what if there was some sort of rules adjacent book, PDF, something that you could buy as a table, and what it would do is it would allow you to bring your 2nd edition AD&D Player's Handbook character to a table with somebody who brought their 3.5 edition character to that table. Somebody brought, 2 people brought 5th edition characters, and one person brought even maybe a 1st edition character or a 4th edition character. And you used the rules that you knew from those specific editions. So I'm not saying to just make a new edition, because at that point, that's just what WotC's trying to do. Let's just kind of make a new edition that tries to make everybody happy in a way, but maybe not make everybody happy, make everybody happy-ish. But what if we took some sort of rules conglomeration and allowed you as, a 2nd edition plover player to roll up their fighter and play with the 2nd edition rules at the same table that somebody is playing a rogue with the 5th edition rules. So you can somehow make it all work together, so you don't have to learn any new rules. The only person that might have to, that will have to learn new rules technically would be the DM trying to make this all happen. But I see in my head some sort of cool little table chart that everybody gets to see. You buy the book and then you get a couple free PDF downloads with it. They might be watermarked, but who cares? And then every player can see them, and your 2nd edition is rolling for THAC0, but your 4th edition is talking about using their daily or utility powers and stuff like that. But so they're using the edition that they know and love, and they know the lingo, the jargon, and they know how their character works, and that DM can use the information from that rules compendium / resource to make all of them work together. That sounds like something that would be really, really cool, and it sounds like an incredibly monumental and annoying task. I don't foresee WotC doing that. It would be really cool if they could make it so that everybody could come together and play using their own rules that they have, so that somebody doesn't have to go out and buy a whole bunch of new books or a whole new edition. They can use their same edition that they have and basically save money on it. Maybe the whole table can pitch in on this one rules compendium book. But there's two kind of modern, similes to this. Two other instances where it kind of worked doing something like this and it kind of didn't. It has nothing to do with RPGs. It has everything to do with the video game world. I'm not a huge Call of Duty player. I don't really play it anymore, but I do pay attention to the news every once in a while. And they had Call of Duty Warzone, which was like their big battle royale game that was free to play, and Activision and Infinity Ward caught lightning in a bottle with that because it was like one of the biggest battle royale games out there. And Infinity Ward had their Modern Warfare series set in that game, and then Black Ops Cold War from Treyarch came out. And they took their rules, which were very different. On the outside looking in, it looked the same. They used guns, they shoot people. Just like to the outside looking in of D&D players, they use dice and they kill goblins. They look similar, but their mechanics are different. But Treyarch was able to make it work. Them and I think Raven Studios did it. It took a long time, and there was a lot of bugs, a lot of headache, but they were able to get those two games to play kind of nicely with each other. And then Sledgehammer came out with Call of Duty Vanguard, which was a different game and a different developer. Still Call of Duty, but all these different kinds of mechanics that these games introduced, and they were able to smush them all into Call of Duty Warzone to make kind of an amalgamation of all three games into one. Again, took a long time, still doing tweaking. There's still people on YouTube complaining about it. That's the only reason why I know about this, is because it's fun to watch people complain sometimes. And then I'm also part of the Battlefield 2042 Reddit community. And Battlefield 2042 was trying to do something similar with their portal system, where it was like, hey guys, look at all these old Battlefield games that you know and love. Let's smush them all together, use all the guns, the gadgets, all the cool things, the mechanics from these other games, and put them all into one giant sandbox. And it isn't working out so well. It kind of is working. No, it's not. I would be lying if I said that it was working. But people are still having some fun with it, and it was an interesting experiment that these two different publishers did with these different companies. Obviously, DICE made Battlefield 2042, all of that stuff was under DICE's creation, whereas Warzone was three different developers, well, more like six different developers kind of working together. But the idea of taking something that was cross-generation, cross-platform, allowing anybody with the tools that they had to play with each other was something that was, in my head, very phenomenal. I think Fortnite does that. Like, you can play, I don't play Fortnite, but I think you can play Fortnite on like a toaster at this point. And like you can play with PC players, Xbox players, PlayStation players, and I'm talking like the past 2 generations or something of these game consoles you can play with. You can play on mobile. Everyone can play together with what they have. You can't afford the brand new stuff. That's okay. You can play on what you have and still play with all your friends. And that's kind of what I wish RPGs would do. I was talking about D&D because that's the big one. But what if, like, I don't know if that's even possible. Like, I'm here, like, trying to keep my emotions low because it sounds like such a cool idea. I just don't know if we can do it. It would be hard. I have no idea even where to start. It's like looking up Mount Everest and saying, we got to climb that, and we got to climb that in a day. That's probably why no one's really tried to tackle this. And I know that we have the whole situation of put your money where your mouth is, or be the change that you want to see, and why don't you do it? There's a lot of homebrewers out there. They're like, why don't you do it? Not specifically for this, but just in general. And it would be interesting to try to do it, but man, I would have to have a Patreon or something so that I was getting paid to do it, because it would take forever and it would not be something I could get done in my spare time. Like, I would have to make that a full-time job. So maybe somebody out there with a Patreon or with good capital to do something like this with could make it work. Somebody with far more expertise than I think I have to make it work. But doesn't that sound like a cool idea? Being able to come to the same table as, somebody with their 3rd edition books and you have your 5th edition books, and just being able to sit down and play together without having to buy anything else. I don't know. Maybe it's just a pipe dream that I have. But this is where I would love to hear from you guys in the comments below. What do you think about that idea? Do you think that's something that's possible? Is there something like that already that I just haven't seen yet? Please let us know. Once again, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a like, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button if you're interested to hear more about our stuff. We have Spelljammer coming out very soon, so we'll have more Spelljammer videos. Thank you guys very much for watching. Again, I'm Justin, and as always, game on!